I just thought it was a really good defensive effort. Obviously, when you can hold that team to 101 points, and they shot the ball well, I thought, especially the first half. I thought the second half we did a much better job of being able to take that extra step out and challenge some of the threes that they shot, and then even run them off some of the three-point shots. But I just thought it was a great team effort. I thought we just had a lot of activity there in the fourth quarter, especially with the group that we had in there. I thought we were real handsy, and then I just have to say that I just, Davion. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but for him to be a rookie and to be able to do some of the things that he can do defensively has been a real plus to us, I think. And I think he's got a lot. He's developed a lot more confidence in his shot, and he's not afraid to take the big shot. So, he did a great job. And then, obviously Tyrese with 11 assists, no turnovers, I think, is what he had. 4 steals. So I just thought it was a really, really good team effort, and obviously a much, 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 much needed win for us.
Alvin, the performance by Mo against James Harden was pretty stunning as well. Just how big is he on the defensive end for you? And not only that, but just his leadership. We saw him really running the defense out there, yelling at guys, pointing directions.
And you're right. I mean, to do that type of job on James was phenomenal. I thought, the 11 shots he took, I thought there was challenge on 10 of them, for sure. And I just thought just the fact that he did a good job of keeping him out of the lane, and he didn't have nearly as much dribble penetration as we thought that we would have to deal with. And when we can keep him out of the lane, obviously our defense is a little better and stuff. And we erred on the side of being in and trying to stop drives, and that's why I think some of the three-pointers happen. And then, Patty is just, he's a great catch and shoot guy. So, if you're in helping, you got to really, really be on your horse to close out to be able to get out the challenge the shot.
Hey, Alvin, just sticking with the defense there, that kind of those 3 bigs with Mo, DJ, and Mezzi. What was your observation of just how effective that was against them tonight?
Well, we put them in the game really to try to rebound the ball. I thought we had struggled on the offensive board. They came up with some big shots, but I thought that I put them in for that. But I thought they did a real good job. We told them. I think it was Rico during a timeout said, "Hey, look, you guys got to try to go and block every shot." I mean, we can't sit back and let them drive it to the basket. And I thought they got much more active especially the last 8 minutes of the game. I thought we got very active and did a good job of, if not blocking shots, of challenging shots. And then we were able to go down and, Davion made some big baskets for us, and Tyrese made some big baskets for us down the stretch.
What do you like about the Davion Halliburton backcourt fit and how they, kind of mesh together?
Well, I think both of those guys do something different that really helps our team. Obviously Davion defensively, I thought did a phenomenal job. To me, Kyrie Irving guarding him is as tough as guarding anybody in the league. I mean, he and Steph, when you think about those two guys and what they can do with the ball and how they get Steph open, but how Kyrie just gets himself open a lot of times with some of the things that he can do with the basketball. But I thought Davion did a pretty good job on him from the standpoint of trying to keep him from going on those big runs that he can go on.
Coach, the Nets, they shot 55% for most of the game going into that third quarter, and then you guys kind of turned it around. Kings shot well in that third quarter as well, and they played, some really good defense in that fourth quarter. What was that discussion like, to get them to play that type of defense, with the steals and the block shots?
Well, I think the main thing is that, we've talked about it a lot, that if we want to give ourselves an opportunity to win, we've got to try to find a way to come up with stops and run, not taking the ball out of the net, but off the backboard. And it's much easier to run and get into the open court, obviously, if you running on stops. So our guys did a good job with it. I just think the activity was really good. The rotations was really good, and and then we finally rebounded the ball well. I think you got to give all the credit in the world to Claxton. I mean, he played his butt off. I thought it was. I hadn't really followed, but I thought it was one of his better games from the standpoint of him being able to get into the paint, and it's really tough because we wanted to try to slow Kyrie down, so we did do some trapping out on the floor, and that's going to open it up. But he took advantage of it.
Coach, this is your first game back after a 5-game road trip, and the fans seem to just get louder and louder as you guys close in on the gap. How much did the team feed off that energy?
Oh, I've said all along, I think we've got incredible fans. Considering we've struggled at home, and I don't think they've ever not supported us. And I think that tonight they really lifted everything. I thought the crowd was phenomenal, and they did a really good job. But I think these are even when I've been on other teams, I think these are some of the best, if not the best, fans in the league.
Alvin, did your team just execute a game plan? And can you talk a little more about Harden and to hold him to 4 points? I'm all the way back to like his second year in the league where he might have had a night.
Yeah, I've never seen him ever play 37 minutes and score 4 points. So I don't even know how to address that. I really don't. It's from the standpoint of, I thought we tried to do what Longo set up from a game plan standpoint defensively, and we tried to keep him out of the paint as much as possible. We also tried to make sure that, on the step-back threes that we were challenging them, but not to the point where we would be called for shooting fouls and stuff. And I thought we did a good job with it, Part of it may have been him, but, I'll give the guys credit tonight for the result, really.
Hello, Coach. Congratulations on the win. Speaking about Ty's game tonight, how big is his growth as a facilitator on the floor, and what type of leader he is from your perspective?
Well, he's a really good leader, and I think if you talk to the guys on our team, they'll tell you that also, that I think he's a confident guy. He's still got some growing to do. But I thought defensively, like tonight, he did a good job. It's really tough when you're running through screen after screen to try to get to Patty to challenge his shot. But I thought he did a pretty good job with that. And, I think like everything else, you can see improvements in Davion, a young player. I think you can see improvement in Ty, a young player, and he's growing and finding his niche in the league.